So naturally, when you're with us and we're in person, we bear wrestle you. I always joke with that, but one-on-one, it's really easy to walk in and do these manipulations physically, but if we're not there, that's why I like to express the use of my training tools. And even when you're with me, guess what? To move the needle quicker, we use training tools so you feel the change faster. It's one thing to anecdotally say, hey, do this, oh, that's not right, do a little bit more, blah, blah, blah. But if there's a tool there and you can actually feel it or hear it, you're gonna understand it more deeply, and then you can interleave using the tool or not using the tool. So let's just talk about a couple of things we see that we get on right away. So typically when a golfer sets up to a golf ball, in a face-on view, the face-on camera, we're gonna see golfers look at the target and kind of set up, their pelvis is back, their shoulders are open, their body's back. This is asking for a steep fade right off the get-go. So we take great care in teaching you how to walk into a shot, how to start behind a golf ball, looking at a ball, looking at an intermediate target, walking in, pairing the hands with a waggle, tipping over, aiming the face, taking a look, settling the feet, taking the look. And notice my looks, I call them little sneaky peeks. I'm not looking at the golf ball by rotating my pelvis back. We notice this all the time, especially with older golfers if they have a little more limited neck mobility. But you can still kind of just cock your head a little bit and let your eyes wander a little to the left, or if you're a right-handed golfer, to have that little sneaky peek while you set your body in parallel to the target line. So things start back here with a target in mind and an intermediate target connecting those two, walking in, pairing and waggling the hands. Now the key thing as we start to do all these little training things with you after we've shown you your root issue, and I'll get to root issues in a moment, is tipping over, building the house first before you set the foundation, because I want your arms and hands comfortably on the club, gripped as though if you wanted to hit a golf ball that was waist high, go ahead and hit it. And we take that comfortable setup with a strong, long lead arm and a somewhat softer trail arm, bend that over to the ball, tap the grass, take a look, set the feet, waggle, waggle, and that's when the golfer is ready to hit a shot. I'll go ahead and hit one because I'm ready and it's fun. And then we ask you to hold, rebound, and holster. Now that was a pleasant outcome and I enjoyed that, but not all outcomes are pleasant, especially when you're making changes. So even if you hit the shot, it doesn't come off pleasing, we still ask you to let the weight of the golf club go to its finishing form, rebound, and holster, because we want you to evaluate the shot even if it's poor, even if it challenges your ego, and we know you're surrounded by others at a golf camp and you don't like missing in front of the coaches or your peers. Who cares? It's one of the first things I say, drop your ego, leave it alone. We're in a learning environment. So typically what we see, people come to the golf camp, what do they want? They want one thing. They want consistent contact. And then after that, it's distance. Consistent contact is what the drug of golf is all about. So now, as I walk through the potential root cause issues with most, I'm just going to bucket the typical things I see, and chances are if you're watching this, you fall in this bucket. You know, most of the people watching this are my age or older. I'm 56, maybe you're a little younger, but typically you're my age or older, and that's great. We've got some aches and pains, maybe we've had some surgery, we've got some funky joints. That's cool. At a golf camp, we make suggestions so you can work around that. I'll explain that in another video. But let's go through this and I'll tell you what I see most commonly. Most commonly, I just see a poor grip. So we spent a lot of time on the grip. That was a chapter we've already covered. Now, the next thing we see is people are tired of hitting it out to right field. They've hit a few shots when they started the game, the balls went way over there, and their first remedy for that, if they've hit a couple shots that ping way out to right field, their first remedy in that frustration is to hang back, is for their body to say, you know what, I need to buy more time for my open face to hit the golf ball. So typically what we see is some kind of business where they go and they hang back, and that buys their time to go ahead and rotate the face so they get an outcome that goes more toward the target. The problem is that's not a flushed shot. That's not a ball speed that's reliable. There's nothing consistent about that delivery. One day you may play well, most days you won't. So as coaches, we recognize that, we get on that right away. So here's the little journey that most golfers are going to go on when they come to the golf school. We are going to build a sound 1 second motion. 1 second, that's basically your golf swing from takeaway to touch. We're going to preface that 1 second motion with a routine to help you walk in, clear your mind, understand what your root flaw was, and then how to hit a shot, good, bad, or indifferent, and look at that shot, feel that shot, what was good, what was bad, and then work into the next shot. So again, going back to the root issues most people have, just bump my T-square back for a bit more grass. Most people hit a slice. So they either hang back to buy time, or they start to develop a backswing where they try to fix their slice in their backswing because they were told to swing into out. So most of the golfers that have been players that shoot in the 80s or 90s, they'll stand in and you'll see a path that goes something back behind them where their lead arm gets what I call too deep and too pinned across the chest, because in their practice swings, they're making a motion out to right field because they've heard that they have to swing inside out to fix their slice. And that is true, but they're doing it the wrong way. So I don't tell anybody to swing inside out. I tell them to let the golf club orbit inside out. And there's a lot of ways to do that. One of the simplest ways is to get the Tour Striker Swing Trainer. The Tour Striker Swing Trainer, again, it's the quickest feedback mechanism for most students to understand this. It's a belt. We use it a variety of ways. In this situation, I'm going to put the rail on my lead side, my left side. Years past, you may have seen a product I was involved with called the PlaneMate. It was worn on the trail side. We wear this on both sides. We just developed the swing trainer quite a bit. And here's an option for you to feel this really quickly and to get video proof. I've got the long band, I've got the rail on the lead side, I've got the connector off the trail side, and watch what I'm doing here. You will see this immediately. And this is what impacts students at the golf camp quickly. So it's connected on the rail, the band is underneath the shaft, connected to the backside of a 9-iron or an 8-iron. Now take a look at what you see. For that golfer who zips it inside, the band is encouraging that. It's encouraging you to do the wrong thing. The golfer that rips it inside to swing inside out is often going to chunk every golf ball. Or if they don't chunk it, they're going to scull it. So we put you in a situation to create confusion so you don't get rewarded for the wrong move. Now the correct move is to have some width in your backswing, and you can see how my hands are moving on a small circle inward while the club's moving on a wider circle. These are kind of parallel inclined circles. The wrong move, again, is just to give way to the band, have the connector behind you, and now the swing is in a place where you're probably going to chunk it. That's what we see. The people that really struggle with consistency of low point. Now, in this little behavior, as we go back, you'll notice how the band, I've got some resistance for my brain to work on. Here's the cool thing. I can go back, I can elevate, and you can see that band kind of flex across my forearm. That's rather comfortable. It's a shrouded band protector, and I can feel that flex across my forearm. Now that's a position I guarantee you've never been in. Well, welcome to a great position for golf. So when I take you from an address position and we teach you out of this behavior into a backswing that's wider, that elevates, and then you learn how to transport lag to where it expand into this imperative spot here, this magic spot between where the golf ball is and the true low point, now you can really have some success. So super slow-mo, here's what I'm going to do. We're going to get you in a spot where we say, okay, we've got to create a new reality for you. And this is the beautiful thing at a golf camp. The coaches will kind of put you in a position, they'll give you a training aid. This one's a little more bizarre than most, not going to lie. And you're going to learn how to make a backswing, maybe correctly for the first time ever, how to stand up a golf club, and then how to let it shallow so you can touch the ball and finish on your lead side correctly. So let's hit a shot. Let's feel this wildly different sensation of a takeaway that isn't artificially whipped inside in an effort to hit a draw. Because what I want you to understand is this isn't whipped inside. This is a club that goes up, then the club head and the connector actually orbits behind me on the way down, because now that can go inside out. Notice how I didn't make an artificial backswing to the inside. I'm getting the club up so I have room for it to go behind me. So hitting a little shot, just a shorty, just to build this feel. Stand the club up, hit a little shot, hold your finish. And it doesn't take long when I take a little slow-mo video, and I want you to video yourself. See the frame you're looking at? Get a phone holder, hold your phone, take this video, see what it's like to make a backswing where the circles make sense, where the club head is basically blocking out the hands right here, where the club gets stood up, and then the club head works behind the golfer, because now you have a new reward from here. That reward is to unwind, and there's your inside out ball touch, then divot, then follow through, rather than the artificial version of trying to, quote, swing inside out, which is a useless thing to do. So we're learning how to make this motion with a band for confusion, with a feel from the shrouded sensation of literally bending over that forearm and then going to that finishing form like we learned in the Cornerstone. So that's an extreme one. I can take that, I can take the swing trainer, flip it around. Once you've got the extreme understanding of how a club shallows into a place where it can get swung inside out, if that's your goal, because that's not everybody's goal. Some people like hitting fades. That's perfect. You can hit a more of a Scotty Scheffler steep fade. No big deal. Or if you want to hit shots like a lot of modern pros, then this is a sensation that is a valuable thing to learn. If you've been like my campers and have been constantly over the top for years and years and years, you need this extreme feel. So here's your common way of setting up the Tour Striker swing trainer. The rail is on the trail side. The connector's on the trail side as well. The same kind of feel in the backswing, not as extreme. Keep the club head in the hands, keep the band, the club head in the hands together, and you can see how I'm not starting off with the handle way up here, I'm not starting off with the handle way low. The shaft and the band are roughly on the same parallel. And then we're going to take it back, stand the club up, and then we're going to let that band win. Let's go back, fight the band, let it win. Then we have the reward of rotating a club inside out. So looking down at my T-square, I can see my ball location, my sneaky peek to the target. Let's stand that golf club up, shallow, and hit little shots. And start to feel something maybe you've never felt before. You know, this is training over new habits. Super bizarre. I guarantee you, you've got your own style of hitting a golf ball. It hasn't necessarily pleased you, or you wouldn't be at my camp. So when you watch this again, look at this extreme behavior. That's going to help train you into the golfer you want to be. Let's have a nice wide takeaway. Stand the club up, let it go behind you, and hit a shot. That's a great way for students to understand the motion that they need to have for a club to work its way from an over-the-top condition to a place where it orbits behind you, so pivot matters and power is there for the taking for you. Now, traditionally what we'll do with a lot of students, they'll create chaos. And the chaos is something that we address with the Smart Ball. Really quite simple. Go to any tour range. This simple device is going to be worn by many of the best players in the world. Pop it on, you've got a lanyard to adjust it, fits the tallest people. Make sure you put the fixed red band around your neck so you don't choke yourself by putting the adjustable portion on. We see people do that, and that doesn't look comfortable, and frankly I'm surprised they do, but that's okay. Now what I want you to do with this is understand the chaos people make in their backswings. So I get my lead hand on, in my case my left hand, I've got the Smart Ball in my right hand. I kind of pin it on my tummy and my forearm and then gather it up with my other arm, and there I am ready to go. Now what's great about this is you can start off just warming up, hitting short little shots like the Cornerstone, or you can start to add momentum to this and try to get those arms high and wide with a lot of chest turn. And notice, here's how I can if I can test if my arms and my scaps are supporting one another if I don't drop the ball. So it's a really simple thing for people to do. Now I should say, it's a simple drill. It's not simple for many because over the years we lose mobility. And the way we create swing length is to create chaos. So you have the swing length and have a bit more speed, but then you can't deliver that to the golf ball consistently. And that's the frustrating part of why your golf rounds are up and down like a yo-yo. So when we introduce this to a lot of folks my age and older, they're like, oh, I hate that thing. Why? Because it's like eating your vegetables when you're a kid. You didn't want to do it. Now I'm older, I love eating my vegetables. And you're gonna love your smart ball if you just do it. Put it between your forearms, gather it up, learn how to grip it. And this sensation of swinging, let the club lever. There's a club levered at lead arm parallel. Let it expand, let it re-lever. This alone is such a valuable thing for people to learn how to do. The heaviness of expansion. Letting the club go from in front of me off the ground into a levered topswing while trying to keep the lanyard gently long. Keep the lanyard as long as you can. Let it get heavy at the bottom, overtake, and then settle into a holster. So if I demo this, maybe you can't do it at full speed yet, which is fine. Waggle, waggle, take a look. Let's let this lever get heavy at the bottom. Hit a little shot. That was nice. And then holster. And rinse and repeat. I can't tell you how effective this is for training the whole shoulder area. How to keep that arm in front of you. If you want to get rid of the chicken wing, here you go. Just put your smart ball in there. If you want to get rid of that overswing and the chaos of the wrists, put this in there. The reason being is if you can manage your elbows, take a close look at my wrist conditions. If I had a measurement device on here, as soon as I bend my elbows, my wrists bend a lot. So if I go to the top and I've got elbows that are separated and arms that are overbent, I've got chaotic conditions. But if my elbows are together, look what happens to my wrist conditions. And if you have a bit more reliability at the top, that 1 second swing gets a lot more predictable and something that you can trust. So these are a couple ways we quickly get on some of the things that we see golfers do that is right away one of the chaotic things in their root swing flaws. Moving along, if I take my smart ball off, I might come out to the range after working inside with my students on their root cause videos, and I might see one of my coaches and he may have a flex click on a golfer. Okay, and I'll immediately know why, because when I see the root cause videos, my coaches and I have been together for years, and we see these things quickly, and we know that your change is tricky for you, and we know we want to give you the opportunity to hit shots better than you ever have. So quite often, we will say, all right, let's talk about how to grip a golf club and how to get your lead wrist in a great spot. So the easiest way to do that is just to put it on your lead hand, in my case my left hand, nice and snug, right at the bottom of my arm, right at the fold of my wrist. And here's why. This was a massively popular drill years ago when I did a swing series feature called Breaking 80 on the Golf Channel. I think it was one of their most popular series ever. And it still plays today. You'll see Smile and Marty on TVs and grill rooms and golf courses on the Golf Channel doing this Breaking 80 series because it helped a ton of people learn how to build a solid foundational setup position for their 1 second athletic event so they could be more reliable. And here's what I want to show you with this. So oftentimes people get into a poor grip situation, and we can take that away pretty much immediately by teaching them how to grip the golf club in the delivery position. What you're going to see as a part of this video is a preloaded series of videos you get when you come to a golf camp. Those videos are our kind of master drills that may apply to you. Now you can ignore a couple of them if we didn't use them at the golf camp, or just watch the drill to have a deep understanding. Might help you with the drill that we assign to you. But typically you'll see an exercise where the golfer will position their golf club vertical and then maybe just a couple of degrees tilted downward ever so slightly. So there's vertical 12 o'clock, there's open 1 o'clock, there's a little too closed 11 o'clock. So fractionally tilted. And then we'll ask the golfer to grip it in this condition. So when they grip it in this condition, this clicker was flat. It wasn't cuppy. Now this is a delivery position. There's the face, just a tick closed from vertical. The clicker isn't clicked. The trail hand goes on, and then guess what? We take them from here, this delivery position. We rotate their hands into what we call an effective address position. This is an address alignment that is about to pass through, you heard that click, pass through this condition to get back to that critical spot we call P6. And in your videos for the golf camp, you're going to see as coaches, we refer to these swinging pass-through positions. Well, one of them is not a pass-through. Two of them aren't. Address and then finish. But everything else is just a general place you pass through. Well, do you pass through these spots with a reasonable tolerance to be reliable, or do you pass through these spots chaotically? Well, if you're chaotic, you're going to be inconsistent because you don't have the process down to have reliability. So when we teach you how to grip the golf club in this what we call P6 position, which is right before P7 in the moment of truth impact, P1's address, P2 is the takeaway, P3 is left arm parallel, P4 is the top, and guess what happened at P4? Maybe this flattens, maybe it doesn't, but at some point from P4 to P6, the lead wrist is typically flat, the trail wrist is bent, the club head is basically parallel to the target line, not way back here and certainly not way over here. And now you're in a great spot to the club to finally expand onto the ball, overtake, and take you to a finishing form. So it might look like this. Now, I'll always encourage golfers, don't be shy. We give them a few tees, make them available so when they're doing these exercises, you can tee up a ball so that you're not too worried about the outcome right away. You're more invested in the sensation of the feel. So there's a face tip down just a tick. You grip it. When you go to set it up, watch what happens. Click. The lead hand bends back. What was bent, the right hand, now becomes flat. What was flat now becomes bent. And that's me in my normal setup position right there. Golfers, that's just my Martin Chuck grip, that's tour neutral, and I'll hit a little shot from maybe right here, add a little speed, hit a ball out there, and then I'll hold and holster. Because, here's why. If I'm changing your grip and I'm changing it at address, you're visually used to seeing and feeling how your hands go on the club in that spot statically at the golf ball. Haha, but I trick you. I teach you how to get the club in a spot here, which is brand new, and you're okay with this, and then you've got a gizmo that helps you realize that you're in a good spot, and then you can hit a shot and you'll be like, wow, I didn't feel like I swung hard and I smoked it out there. Exactly. And then once you do that, we go, okay, well, how do you create a address position from there? You might say, oh, that feels weird. Well, it worked here. Let's just put it there in this address position and start dynamically to create a backswing that can put a little muscular torsion in your body and the fascia so you can unwind and hit it harder. So you can start to see at the Tour Striker Golf Academy how we see things. What we're doing as coaches to create the outcomes we are looking for, whether it's crazy elbows, wrist conditions, grips, other ways for us to inspire you to have behaviors that are successful. And this all goes on. Guess what? You know what you don't hear right now in this video? Music. It's always on at the Tour Striker Golf Academy. You'll always see Coach Martin snapping away to whatever tune's on, whether it's 80s rock or some kind of dance tune that I love. It's playing in the background. You know why? Because it's fun. And the tents are up and we're having some waters and we're having a joke. I even invite the cart girl to come back and serve up a cocktail or two if that's your thing. Because I want the learning environment to be a fun one while you're investing your time feeling all these different feels and assembling your own little catalog of success that you can draw upon and rely on when you go and swing the golf club.